Welcome to the Sleeping Barber podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of our Barber's Brief. If you're a new listener, well, thanks for joining us. We, Mark and I, like to use this forum to discuss things that have caught our eye over the last couple of weeks. It could be news, it could be really anything, actually. We've kind of taken it in a few different directions recently. We like to highlight our marketing moment, also known as a case study or something that we would really want to draw attention to. When we have them, we also like to get into audience Q&A. I don't think we have one this week, but we always look forward to any questions that you may have. And of course, finish off with ad of the week, right? Ad of the week.
Yes.
Really exciting stuff. But I know we have a few things on the go. So let's get right into it. I think you're up first for your first in the news.
Yes. Elon Musk's X is winning advertisers, new and old. But the comeback has a long way to go. This is the headline I found from Business Insider. X is a private company, doesn't need to be publicly reported. So there's some transparency that we don't have on this.
Sure.
But there was data that was done from a research firm called Media Radar.
Okay.
And they analyzed a panel of more than 2 million U.S. users and showed that there's a similar trend there, that estimating that X's U.S. advertising revenue was $1.4 billion in 2024, down 28% from nearly $2 billion spent on the platform in 2023.
Jesus.
Elon Musk was famous for, I think it was Cannes in 2023, having said, "Go fuck yourself" to all the advertisers that didn't want to advertise.
I think so.
It was pretty, yeah. They've since also started suing some of their former advertisers, alleging that they collectively conspired to boycott the platform.
What?
Yeah. I don't know that it's going to win them more advertisers, but
I have no favorability there.
Yeah. But his role in the government could be a draw, and they've seen about a 123% uplift in U.S. spending on X.
Are people protesting outside of Doge right now?
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. For me, like, I haven't used X for a long time. I just deleted it. And then as an advertising vehicle, I really haven't used it for a while.
Well, it's funny because like I don't think I've ever found a real proper replacement for X in a traditional sense because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I didn't use Twitter or X. Yeah. But I think like many others, I won't call it boycotted the platform. I think I didn't like how the algorithm was curating a lot of the content and the For You page. It just, for me, it wasn't something that I want to invest any more time in.
Yeah.
But I also never tried to find a replacement, which is really weird because like I was okay with just a lot of the other social platforms that I use. So anyways, yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many channels. It's hard. I would imagine it'd be hard to get people back on.
I mean, yeah.
Like advertisers, I mean. There's so many places to put dollars. Like, yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know. Not Amazon's. Meta's Threads, I think, became quite popular. It's quite popular. Their advertising platform is basically built off of what
Meta platform.
The Meta platform is, which is quite robust. Yeah, that's. I'd love to see how that actually evolves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you got?
I got Google doing some search testing on what they're calling AI mode.
Oh,
yeah. Google's reportedly internally testing a new feature called AI mode, which is a new way to ask open-ended and exploratory questions. So, what is AI mode, you ask? AI mode is described as a search intelligently researching for you kind of tool. It's an easy-to-digest breakdowns with links to explore content across the web, according to a leaked email obtained by 9to5 Google. AI mode is more an open-ended exploratory questions that may not be served well by what we see today from Google search results. This includes queries that ask Google search for advice and comparisons, as well as exchanges that allow follow-up questions. It's based off of the Gemini 2.0 platform. The type of queries AI mode is good at answering include: how many boxes of spaghetti should I buy to feed 6 adults, 10 children, and have enough for seconds?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. The second one: compare wool down and synthetic jackets in terms of insulation, water resistance, and durability. A third query you could ask it, what do I need to get started with aquascaping?
Oh, everybody wants to know that.
I don't even know what that is. But and a great follow-up, what are some nearby stores that buy supplies? So obviously you can tell it's more open-ended, very much exploratory, help with conversations. I don't know about you, if any of your search habits have changed at all, but I usually now use these, I hate calling them AI, but let's just say for the sake of simplicity, these AI tools to do a lot of search because I'm not looking for all the promoted ads on the SERP pages, the algorithms favoring specific, content versus others.
Yeah.
So I just go to these LLMs and just be like, hey, I'm looking for this specifically. Can you help me find something on the web? And I bypass all of that.
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's interesting that they're
using,
testing it.
like Gemini and ChatGPT and all those types of things.
Are you on Claude yet?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. But I'm definitely using them more for like perspective and suggestions on like an approach this way or that way or comparing things. It's not specifically an answer, like a direct answer that I think is now how I'm using Google's traditional search features more.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
By the way, the aquascaping is the art of arranging aquatic plants, rocks, and other elements in an aquarium to create visually appealing underwater landscapes.
Mind blown. Okay. Love it.
Yes.
All right. What do you have next?
I found this article from McKinsey, Unlocking the Next Frontier in Personalized Marketing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting article for different reasons than I originally thought. So I wanted to find out more about this. They're basically, things we've talked about before. The idea of using AI and generative AI to better scalability and personalized experiences.
Okay.
There is McKinsey research from a few years ago that they cite here, and that's sort of the reason for wanting to lean into this.
Mm-hmm.
So their previous research had said that 71% of the consumers they surveyed expected companies to deliver personalized interactions.
Okay.
And 76%, so 3/4 people, got frustrated when it didn't happen.
Fair.
So there's an expectation that people have more personalized experiences. And so that's the reason for them going down this path and pushing this and promoting this this angle. They say to reach consumers, the idea of like the right time, the right moment, the right place, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Using AI targeted promotions and then AI to scale creative production, like all those things that we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
But the recommendation here is that marketers should boost their efforts in investing in MarTech to make this happen.
Okay.
And then there's a whole bunch of discussion around how to make this happen. But that's kind of really the take-home thing. The thing that was interesting for me that was absent from this was any sort of evidence that this is beneficial. Like there's this somewhat anecdotal story about, this one advertiser had done a few things and they saw slightly more open rates.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of like the loyalty story. There's this idea of like the goal and objective is to do more, to drive more loyal customers.
Right.
But we don't really look at the data or the evidence behind that. And I'm intentionally looking for stuff to show me that there's evidence that personalized one-on-one marketing is superior or way more effective than regular marketing. And so far, I haven't seen anything. I was really hoping to find that here. Because then the implication is that you're going to potentially just buy more tech, add it to your tech stack, and then spend more money on things related to technology and less money on actually reaching the people you're trying to influence.
I'm with you. I think I still have a tough time with these kind of broad stroke statements. So even saying like 71% of consumers expect the companies to deliver personalized interactions. Okay. I'd love to understand where these consumers are expecting these personalized interactions.
Yeah.
Are you expecting them on the open web? Are you expecting them in an email? Are you expecting them in SMS? Like, for me, what's missing here is like, where are consumers expecting these personalized instances?
Right.
And then 76% got frustrated when it didn't happen. Well, that for me just immediately tells, well, how did you even ask that question in the survey? It's like, are you frustrated when you don't get personalized content? And you say yes or no, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
with you here in the context. Like, I don't know if it's so much that personalization matters. I think what it is, though, is how do you get the right content in front of the consumer at the right point that they're either researching, ready to buy, etc. Does it have to say, Mark, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
Here's what you need. So I think it's an overgeneralization of the term personalized is also, I think, something that kind of
like also, we've talked about needs-based segmentation.
Mhm.
So if I'm an advertiser and I have a needs-based statement promise to the customer, is that personalized? You know what I mean? Is it because it's suiting my needs or solving my needs?
Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, there's just a whole bunch of questions around that. Like for me, it's a giant leap to go from that problem statement of customers expect companies to have more personalized experiences and
Totally.
to then go and invest in MarTech stacks so that you can do all this.
That's a huge leap.
Yeah.
Huge leap.
Next,
humor in advertising works. From our good friends over at Work. I don't know, you probably saw this coming anyways, but
haven't yet.
You haven't seen the report? Well,
No.
Work just issued this new report, Why Humor in Advertising Works and How Brands Can Use It More. So I got the little TLDR from it. Humor in advertising has declined by 37% over the past 20 years, according to Kantar, but evidence shows that it remains a powerful tool for brand recall, emotional engagement, and long-term success. Now, why humor matters? People remember what makes them feel something, and humor is one of the quickest ways to create that connection. Now, that's why ads built on humor, like should have gone to Specsavers or Snickers, hunger tantrums, have stayed in people's minds over the years. And there's so many examples. Those are just two.
Yeah.
Work suggests 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of ways to harness that humor. So the first being humor as a memory hook.
Right.
So comedy disrupts expectation. It makes consumers stop, engage, and then remember. Number 2, reliability is key. So a universal insight like Snickers, you're not you when you're hungry. When you're hungry,
Yep.
resonates across cultures and markets. It's not nuanced to a North American culture, for example. So there's a lot of legs to that. Celebrity and humor drives fame. So this one was interesting. So well-executed humor paired with celebrity endorsements like Rick Astley's campaign with Specsavers boost brand impact. And then the commercial case for comedy is humor can supercharge marketing ROI. Ads with humor are 6.1 times more efficient at driving market share growth than neutral or dull ads. So the bottom line, or the TLDR, humor isn't only a creative choice. It can be a strategic advantage, but ensure that there are deep consumer insights, cultural awareness, and consistency to have it succeed.
Yeah. That makes sense. Humor is so good. The tricky part about humor is you have to be funny.
Totally.
It's so
like us, right? We're funny.
Yeah, we're hilarious. But yeah, they make it like, and that's where I think, investing in copywriters and
So
things
important.
like that, like so important to get that part right.
But it's funny because like I posted it on LinkedIn earlier this morning as well, and I prefaced it with like, "Is it the one emotion to rule them all?" Because I know like over the last few weeks, I know we talked to Vanessa Chin. We aired her episode last week, and we are talking about like any emotion is important.
Yeah.
But if you had to lean into one, is humor the one that you should be looking at? Right?
Yeah.
If your brand allows for it. There's a whole lot of things that go into this and how you can use it and when you can use it. I always personally really enjoy humorous ads. But I mean, everyone's different.
Totally. Yeah. I got a marketing moment, V.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I was reading this over as you were preparing for it. And I'm like, oh, this one's going to be good.
So this is a case study that I found on Wharton's website. So choosing the wrong pricing strategy can be costly. So there was this conversation or discussion between two of the profs there. I think the article's fairly old, but it was really interesting because I was looking specifically for something around pricing. So Professor Raju and Professor Zhang say that firms don't go about pricing the right way. Firms don't always go about pricing the right way, despite the huge impact that it can have. They cited this study from McKinsey where they had done research on 2,400 companies, so that's 2,400 companies. And the report found that a 1% reduction in fixed costs improves profitability by 2.3%. So you reduce costs, profit goes up by a bit. A 1% increase in volume will result in a 3.3% increase in profit. A 1% reduction in variable costs will prompt a 7.8% rise in profit. But a 1% hike in pricing can boost profitability by 11%.
Whew.
So it's so similar to what we were talking about with Herman
I was
a while ago, long time
I was
ago.
just like going to go through my notes right now to see like how did he position that, because it sounded very familiar.
Yeah, which was, I thought, really interesting about this. So the 5 big lessons to learn from this, the two profs that talked about, is a lot of people don't recognize the importance of pricing. And so a lot of people and managers and executives want to have their say in the pricing strategies, but it's difficult. And then they don't want to take responsibility for if things go wrong.
Yeah.
Or get, pinned up, and taken shots at because of something they recommended. So that's the first thing. It's hard, and it's also challenging for people to make contribution because it's risky.
Right.
The second thing is that the pricing needs to be an integral part of the plan for taking a product to market from the very beginning. It's not just and by the way, I'll do cost plus 10. The third one is that identifying the customers that you're targeting and understand how much those customers are willing to pay for a product or service. So again, this is having some market research done to understand what the willingness to pay is. They make a point that pricing can be a really important tool to differentiate a product or service from the competition. So for example, aspirin versus generic acetaminophen, it helps maintain that brand pricing or brand premium. And then the other part is taking into account the distributors who also bring the product to market. So if they themselves don't make enough profit, probably a good chance that your sales will suffer. So it's really, I thought it was really interesting just from a point of view of kind of breaking down some of the things around pricing we do know it's important. We know that increasing pricing can be a huge lever for profitability.
100%.
We're always talking about chasing profit.
That's all we do.
It's all we do. And then a couple takeaways for it. So I thought it was a really interesting article.
I mean, it's funny because when I kind of went through it, it's almost I could hear Herman Simon speaking. Do you know what I mean? Like like you said, a lot of the stuff we've been able to kind of cover through, because I think we featured him twice or even 3 times on the podcast, and he talks a lot about these things. The one thing I can never get over is when I think about like the 4 bullets that you had, 1% reduction in fixed cost improves profitability by 2.3%. A 1% increase in volume will result in 3.3 increase in profit, et cetera, et cetera. It's just when you see it broken down this way, and then you see how companies tend to react to help, quarterly earnings or things like that. It's almost like a hierarchy here that you go through. So you're trying to find profitability. It's like, okay, let's try to reduce those fixed costs. Number one, we can expect this. It just feels like it's a checklist.
Yeah, I agree. There's so, like, it is a really complicated thing to do really well, but I think some really good generic points to start with are all those 5 things. So.
Totally.
We have you with Ad of the Week. Ad of the Week.
CeraVe, I think they're becoming like some of my favorite advertiser. I'm not kidding when I say this. So they just launched a new creative platform called Head of CeraVe, and they brought in Anthony Davis and a few others to kind of help bring this into life. And they're kind of working off of insight, if you will, While dandruff affects 1 in 5 Americans, only 40% seek treatment. So that's kind of where it's all built around. So the campaign features social media star Charlie D'Amelio, NBA player Anthony Davis, and UConn basketball player Paige Buckers, who each shared viral moments highlighting scalp health issues. Now, the campaign includes a Saturday Night Live collab featuring a parody metal band called No More Dandruff, but No More Dandruff. CeraVe is promoting their new anti-dandruff shampoo and conditioner line, which contains 1%. Oh my goodness. Pyrethroine? I don't know.
That's a good one.
I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds great.
Pyrethroine zinc really and their signature CeraMade blend. I don't know, man. The campaign also includes sweepstakes, offering winners trips to Broadway shows, Mavericks games, or UConn games, along with product giveaways.
That's fun.
It's a really cool ad. I really enjoyed it when I saw it. It would have been a couple of weeks ago. And CeraVe's back at it again.
That's fun. Yeah, I took a quick look at that. It's a really fun ad. Speaking of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly, right?
It can become a brand platform, I think, for some brands too.
I agree.
Like it did for WestJet too. When you were well, it's been that way for a while, but yeah.
For a while, like they would lean into April Fools. They would lean into just witty humor. That allowed the brand allowed for it though too. People expected it.
Yeah.
So what do we have? What do we have coming up next week?
Well, we've got Karen and Morgan from Rethink.
Episode 2 in our creative.
Yeah, and it's such a great episode. They're awesome in there, and they kind of break down the I want to call it a formula, but it's kind of a formula for how
their framework.
Yeah, the framework for how they think about discussing creative ideas and then building out and building on creative ideas.
Totally.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's really like the method of being really successful.
Yeah.
On all things creative. And there's a formula there or a framework that, Rethink goes to time and time again. And no wonder they've been so successful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So yeah, it is a great episode.
And with that, V, we are wrapping up a rapid Barber's Brief.
Holy
today.
Smokes, man. 23 minutes?
This was actually the one where we did it in 20 minutes or so. So now we officially can say that this has happened.
That's insane. That was quick. I'll take it.
All right,
man.
Well, with that, I am going to log off and I am going to go shuffle around some profitability that I've been working on.
There's been a lot of profitability coming down from the sky. Holy smoke, what is going on?
I don't know. It's so much
deep
of it.
freeze here.
When is it going to get warm?
Well, I'm kind of over it now. It's okay.
Minus 27 is not that fun.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Okay. All right. Well, while you do that, I'll go pour myself some profitability to kind of start my day off the right way.
Perfect.
To all the listeners out there, thanks for keeping us in your ears.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great day, buddy.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.